Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to another episode here on African Confessions. That is a story that I received from one of our sister. The translation of that confession that she gave to me, it reads like this. Hello, Brother Nashi, how are you? Can you please post my own story? I have my own confession that I want to share with you, but may you please hide my identity. I want to confess that I was initiated into the marine kingdom, and it's not like I worship the devil himself, but it is only that there were some marine spirits that were given to me. These marine spirits, I was told that there are those that are good marine spirits that can help you in life. Then there are those that are not so good. Those are the type of the marine kingdom in which I got myself initiated into. So I do not worship the devil as such, but rather I am helped by the evil, you can call them evil marine spirits. The woman who initiated me into the marine kingdom, she is a Zimbabwean woman who is overseas. She's the one who made me to join the marine kingdom. I met up with this woman online when I was looking for a job. I was really desperate at that time. At that time, when I met with my madam boss, before I started working for her as a maid, I used to stay in Joburg and I was working as a maid as well. That was when I fell in love with another man that was from Zim. But this man, he used to abuse me physically, such that even people in the community in that location where I was staying, they even wanted to put a tire around his neck so that they can burn him because of the way that he used to beat me up. Because of the way that I was suffering, even my landlord ended up saying that, I know your pain, I know your situation. Even if I try to kick you out, where will you go to? It is far much better that you just stay until the day when you will be able to pay my rent money. And I stayed for about 3 months until I got so embarrassed because still I was unable to pay the rent after that so-called husband of mine had ran away from me. There was a place where I was working, but I had a lot of misfortunes, too much bad luck. Then I went on Facebook, I joined this other group, and I told other Zimbabweans that were in that group that I was looking for a job. I did not even care anymore if the person would hire me in South Africa or in Zim. I did not care. All that I wanted was a job. After I had posted on Facebook that I was desperately looking for a job, that was when this other woman who became my madam boss approached me and told me that she wanted to help me out. She was using a ghost account, but I went to her profile and I saw that on her ghost account, she had her own profile picture. I got so shocked because I had never seen a woman wearing a red garment like those that they wear in the red garment churches, but having those long nails as if she was a mermaid. She had long nails that were so scary. As I was looking at her, I saw this woman that she had a long wig that she was wearing, and it was quite scary but beautiful at the same time. And one could tell that this woman, she is involved in the marine kingdom. As we were talking, even though I was nervous about it, I was scared. I said, this woman, one can clearly see that she is into the marine spirits, the marine kingdom. But with the way that I am suffering, this woman, as much as she is scary, it is far much better that I communicate with her. She asked me if I really needed help. I told her that I wanted her to assist me. She then said that if I was willing, I was supposed to go and see one of her friends. She gave me a friend's contact, a businesswoman who was also staying in Joburg, but from Zim. So she had a saloon there in Joburg. I went there. I was really desperate, but the moment that I saw her, my heart banged against my chest. I was so scared. It was as if I was looking at a mermaid. The way that she was wearing, she had this long dress that glittered in the sun. Even her makeup, her weave, her long nails, you could tell that this one, she is into the marine kingdom. One thing that stood out about this woman, she had a necklace, and this necklace, it was of a mermaid. As we were talking, she then told me that she had been given some money by my madam boss and she approved of me. She was going to tell my madam boss that indeed she can go ahead and hire me. As for that lady who was hiring me, she did not even send me her pictures. She was no longer speaking with me that much. I was now in communication with that woman. As for that woman, the way that she was beautiful, her skin, it glowed in the sun. She looked more like a colored woman, as if she had bleached her skin. She said no, she did not bleach her skin. She was born like that. She even said that when she was still very young, people thought that maybe her mom was a white woman because of the way that she was so light-skinned. I was then given some money. This money that had been given to me, I was supposed to use it. I was strictly told that it was the money that I had to use in preparation of me returning back to Zim so that I can be initiated into the Marine Kingdom. After I had been given that money, as I was sitting down and thinking about it, I then said, with all of this money that has been given to me, so these women, they think that I am so foolish that I can leave South Africa and return back to Zim so that I can work as a maid. I laughed. Hey. Then I went to Foshin with the money that I had. There was this other beautiful dress that I wanted to buy. In my mind, this was the game plan. Since I had already been given the money, I would buy a few clothes, then I would change location and move to another location in a place where no one knew me. And I was going to avoid that part of Joburg where this woman had her salon, and I will continue with my life. For the money that they had given me, I had calculated and I had seen that I would be able to survive for many months, paying rent, buying food, whilst I was looking for a job. When I went into Foshin, when I was busy looking for a dress, that was when this other woman entered as well, who was beautiful. When I looked at her, I saw a mermaid. She had this beautiful wig that was really beautiful and long. As she was walking right in front of me, she changed and she became a white woman. She walked to the place where there were some handbags, and then she started looking and choosing one, and then she went to the till and she paid. Then she walked out. I then started following this woman. So as she was walking, when she wanted to exit the mall, there was this other little king pie. She went to that king pie, then she bought a pie as well as juice. She turned around and I was scared. She walked towards me and then she handed me the pie as well as the juice that she had bought. I wanted to run away when I saw that this woman had seen that I had been following her, but I was paralyzed. My heart was so heavy and beating against my chest, I could not even move. She came and then she held my hand. She looked at me and she said, "My dear, which language do you speak?" She told me that she was from Nigeria, and I could not even respond to her because I felt so paralyzed as she was talking to me. She kept on asking me and she said, "Are you a Shona speaking person? You need to tell me very fast because my time here is limited." When I responded to her, I said, Ndari Shona, when you are scared, you can't even speak in English, only your mother tongue. That is what you can respond in. That is what happened at that time. I tried to respond to her in English, but I was so nervous and scared, such that I started speaking to her in Shona. As she was looking at me, holding my hand like that, even people that were busy walking around the mall, they thought that maybe we knew each other, yet I was standing right there, face to face with a mermaid. When I was looking at her, what amazed me was her beauty. I had never seen such a beautiful woman. I started to lust after her and I said, "I wish that I was as beautiful as this woman." She looked at me and she said, "Okay, so you are from Zim. Don't you know that you have been chosen? Why are you trying to run away? Take this food. I want you to eat this food that I have bought for you, for I have blessed this pie as well as this juice. You need to eat it. It is going to heal you. For you are not supposed to see me. If you keep on seeing me, it won't be good for you. So eat this food so that you can stop seeing me. You have been chosen, and you have been chosen to become the daughter of the sea. You do not need to run away. For if you become the daughter of the sea, anything that you want in life can be yours." She told me that the food that she had bought for me, it had been blessed by her. And when I accepted the pie as well as the juice, she started walking towards the escalator. There were some people that had their trolleys, and then she stood with those people, but no one saw her, and then she disappeared. That is what happened at that time. I then returned back to the location where I was staying. I sat down and I said, this money that has been given to me by the girls from the Marine Kingdom, it is refused for it to be used by me in such a way that I wanted to. So it is far much better that I listen and I return back home. I went and I bought some groceries. I went to the place where I found some buses that were traveling to Harare, and then I got onto the bus and I returned back to Zim. When the bus arrived in Harare, that was when I told that lady who had hired me that I was now in Harare. It did not even take long. There was this other woman, like I had been told that there was someone that was going to come and pick me up. She came, she was driving a very beautiful car. It had tinted windows. One could not even see who was inside. I went to the car and then I opened and then I dropped my bags in the boot of the car. And when I went to sit inside the car, that was when I saw that woman. She was truly beautiful and amazing. I had never seen such beauty ever before in my life. That woman, she is so perfect in each and every way, from her body structure to her eyes to her beauty. And as I was looking at her, she told me that I was not supposed to keep on looking at her. She told me that she has the powers to hypnotize any person that keeps on looking at her. She said, please stop it. I do not want you to keep on looking at me because I'll end up forcing you to do things that you do not want to do. For that is her mission that she was sent to do here on earth, to force men to do things that they do not want to do. This woman, she has deep blue eyes, and in my life, I had never seen a black person with deep blue eyes. She told me not to keep on looking at her, for things were not going to go according to plan. And whenever she was talking to me, she would always avoid eye contact with me. I found myself looking at her eyelashes, and I kept on lusting after her until she said, God damn it, stop looking at me. Otherwise, I'll start controlling you and make you do things that you do not want to do. She told me that she was given that gift to help her in her mission. For the mission that she was given here on earth is for her to sleep with men that are famous, those that shine like the brightest star. She said, the brighter the star, and when it falls, the harder it will fall, for everyone will notice that such a bright star has fallen. So that is her mission, to sleep with men that are famous, your pastors, even those that are just popular, so that by the time that they will fall from grace, everyone will notice. She is so different from the other girls that I have met from the Marine Kingdom. Like when we are having our dinner parties celebrating the marine spirits, she won't be there with us, but what she does is that she celebrates and she has these dinner parties with Indians. So she became a marine girl when she used to work in Durban. That is why she's so different from the rest of us. She even confessed that with the way that she is so beautiful, she does not even use public transport because she is scared that she might even cause confusion amongst men. She always moves around with that car of hers which has like tinted windows such that you cannot even see what will be taking place inside. As she was driving, that was when I started to hear that there were things that were moving in the car. I asked her what was going on because I felt some movements. She looked at me and she laughed. She told me that she did not want to tell me some things that my madam boss, maybe she did not want me to hear and to know, since I was still new in the cult. Later on, that was when it was revealed to me that on that day, the thing that I had as it was moving inside of her car, it was a snake. She has a sea snake. So this snake, the best way that I can explain it, because most of the people, they have never seen such a snake that lives in the sea. You see how a zebra is like, not like the shape. This snake, it is like your normal snake, but it has the same stripes, just like a zebra. It is black and white stripes that covers the entire body of that snake. And you cannot even tell where the head is and where the tail is, because at the tip of the tail, it is almost the same as the head as well. So at her place, she has this other fish tank. That is where this snake stays. She regularly gets some seawater. I don't know who supplies her with the water from the ocean, and she always keeps it fresh. And when she moves around, she always moves around with that snake. There are some other rituals that she performs as well. The rituals that she performs is when a rich blesser is supposed to come to her place. So what she does is that she goes and then she buys fish from the sea, and then she does not cook the fish as well as some snails. She will just warm some water and she will place the snails inside that warm water, and then she will go into her tub and undress herself, fill the tub with water. She will enter into the tub, and then she will take that snake of hers and she will start to make love to the snake as she will be performing those rituals. By the time that the blesser would have arrived at her house, she would have finished with the rituals. That blesser will give her so much money, a lot of money. I have seen famous people coming to her house. She would even call me the first days when I got initiated into their club. She will say, "Do you know such a person?" And then I will say, "Yeah, I only see that person maybe on social media." And then she will tell me that she was going to be with that person, and she will tell me to dress properly and come to her house. I would go and then I would wait for that famous person, and then she will take the guy to the bedroom. She always performs those rituals before she sleeps with a famous person or with a rich blesser. So as I was being initiated, then I was told that I am supposed to work as a maid. So in the marine kingdom, everyone goes by the rank. You have your own rank. Like my madam boss, she has a rank that is higher than my own rank. So they cannot hire like a normal maid. That is why us that are marine girls, but we do have lower ranks, we end up working as maids for our bosses, so that if we encounter anything that is spiritual at my madam boss house, I won't even get scared. So this is how our kingdom operates. We are supposed to expose some secrets so that people can know, but then there are things that are not allowed to be revealed to other people out there. It's like when you are in the army and you meet a civilian that will be wearing an army uniform. Don't you think that it will be a disgrace to you as a soldier? What will you do in that case? But there are things that a civilian is supposed to know about the army. It is the same thing that I am trying to tell you. Everyone is afforded a fair chance when it comes to our kingdom. If we decide to attack you, we give you a fair chance. We reveal ourselves in a way to you, and you are supposed to use your own mind so as to know that these people that are attacking me, they are from the marine spirits, so that when you are judged because you knew that you were dealing with people from the marine spirits. The day that I got initiated, there was a pastor that I was supposed to attack. On that day, I suffered a lot. I was told that I was supposed to go into town. I had been given an instruction to wait at this other taxi rank that is called Copacabana, where you can find taxis that go to a small town that is called Chitungwiza, which is just outside of Harare. I stood there and I waited until the rank marshals asked me if I was normal or if I was mad. Because what I would do is that when a taxi would come into line, then the rank marshals will say, to those that want to go, you can enter the taxi before it fills up. I would go into that taxi and wait, because I had been told that there was a pastor that I was supposed to follow, and I was supposed to confuse him, for he was on a mission. He had been sent by his own God. There was a place where he was supposed to go to, and we were not allowed to let him arrive at the place where he was supposed to go and pray for this other woman whom we wanted in the marine kingdom. So my masters told me that there was a cloud, a dark cloud that had descended on that taxi rank, and from within that dark cloud there was thunder and lightning. So this cloud, it had descended on that taxi rank so that we could not see this man that had been sent by his own God. To other people, they did not even witness the spiritual battle that was taking place. Even that pastor did not even know that him being sent, he was causing confusion, and we had been sent to make sure that he won't arrive at his destination. When I finally saw this pastor, I said, but why? Why does his God choose people like him? He was someone that was just poor. When I looked at him, the clothes that he was wearing, it was written poverty all over his face. He had such an old Bible, such that I felt so much pity for him. He went into that taxi, and then I was given an instruction to sit right behind him. I was busy eating, and I was drinking this other juice called Cascade. So as I was drinking the juice, I was making him to feel very fatigued. So my instruction was simple. When the taxi was moving, when we approached that town, that was when people started dropping off one by one. I was wearing this mini skirt, and I had a mermaid that had entered my body so that people can find me to be so attractive. And whenever someone would be getting off from the taxi, since I was sitting right behind him, I would also get out of the taxi. And when I would be getting out of the taxi, I will bend down such that he would see my thighs, and then I would look at him. When I did it the first time, he looked at me and he looked to the side, and I smiled, for I knew that the battle was going to be won. So the woman whom he was going to pray for, she had arrived from South Africa. When she was in South Africa, she used to fight a lot with her husband. That was when she told herself that she wanted to know what was going wrong in her life. She consulted with a traditional healer. This traditional healer then told her that there was a marine spirit that was causing all of these problems in her marriage. So what was supposed to happen was that she was supposed to return back to Zim, and then a dinner party was supposed to be done on her behalf, but not her sister. Her sister had refused, for it was like she knew what was going to happen. We were waiting. We had been waiting for this woman. We wanted to give her her own marine spirits, and those marine spirits were going to destroy her marriage. And after the marine spirits had destroyed her marriage, there was another mission that will be waiting for her. For the marine spirits, as soon as they had destroyed her marriage, they were going to offer to her men. Countless men would line up feeling attracted to her, not only her, but the marine spirits, because as they were going to do that ritual of accepting the so-called ancestors, they will be accepting that strange marine spirit into the family, and it will do whatever that it wanted with her. The healer had told her that they were supposed to go to a forbidden river where they would offer sacrifices to the marine spirits, thereby accepting that spirit into the family. When another person got off from the taxi again, unlike what he had done the first time, because when I bent over just a little bit as I was getting off from the taxi, immediately when I looked at him, he looked away and he took his Bible. Then he started reading his Bible. And then the second time around, I did the same thing. I bent over and then I looked at him. He looked at me. I smiled and he also smiled. I then sat right next to him because he was now sitting alone. And then, our taxis here in Zim, they are always full of people. It does not matter where the taxi is going. They'll end up picking passengers until you complain. If you do not complain, the driver will keep on piling people in that little taxi. So when we were sitting like that, that was when the driver and his conductor, as we were traveling to Chitungwiza, they kept on picking passengers until the taxi was full. So when I was sitting with him, I then made sure that he can see my thighs, and I kept on pressing myself towards him so that he can feel me and I can feel him. I pretended as if the person that was sitting right next to me was the one that was pushing me, so much that my hand ended up resting on his private parts. I left it there, and then I started to feel it. I felt his manhood as it was getting erect, as it was pushing hard against my hand, and I left it right there, just like I had been told by my masters to tempt him and not to stop tempting him. I looked at him and he looked at me. I felt so sorry for him when he looked down because there was so much sadness that was written all over his face. I knew the battle that he was fighting from within, but I could not afford to feel sorry for him, even though I knew that ever since he had been given his revelation by his God that there was a place where he was supposed to go to and pray for that girl so that she won't go to the traditional healer. I felt sorry for him. I wanted to walk away from that mission, but then I told myself that as for my master is not as merciful as his master. His master is much merciful. If he fails this mission, he is going to be forgiven. Am I going to be forgiven? I knew that if I fail that mission, no one will ever forgive me. I said, this is a matter of life and death. I am really sorry, but I will go ahead with this mission. As I was looking at him, I felt so happy when this man started talking to me. He asked me whom I was, and I told him my name, where I was headed to. I then created a story. I told him that I was working for this other woman who was evil. So that woman had kicked me out of her house, and now I was desperate. And I came from the villages, and I was looking for a place to stay, to sleep, so that at least tomorrow I can make another plan. And the place where I was headed to, I was not even sure. All that I knew was that the man that I used to date when I was still in the villages, that man, he had traveled to Harare and he had promised me that after he had gotten a job, he was going to come back for me. But he was married in the city. He looked at me and he said, are you sure that you will be able to find this man? And I said, no, I'm not even sure if I will find this man. If I do not find him, then I will make another plan. He asked me if I had the address. I said, no, I don't have the address as such, but he once told me that he stays in such and such a street. I think I can find him. He then asked me if I knew how big Stungwiza was. And it was going to be very difficult for me to find the place where my so-called husband was staying with his new wife. He told me not to worry. He was going to make a plan. He said, maybe we can get off from the taxi and then we can walk around together before I go to the place where there is that lady that I need to pray for. At least I would have helped you first. He then said, if it happens that you do not find your husband, then I will be left with no choice than to go with you to the police station. At least if I take you to the police station, I will know that you will be safe. I was laughing at him as he was lying to me that his intentions were good, for I knew that he had already started lusting after me. I laughed and I said, oh dear, where will you take me to? Why would you want to take me to the police station? Why? Because in your heart, I can see that in your heart, you really want to go with me to a lodge so that you can sleep with me and have your way with me. Why don't you just say it aloud than to lie to me? As I was having this conversation with myself, I started to hear my other marine spirit girls as they were laughing at me. I then told my marine spirit friends not to keep on laughing, otherwise I was going to join in their laughter and it was not going to be good because I could feel that they were there with me inside that taxi as well. We then got off from the taxi and we started walking together, me and that man. As we were walking, we even passed through that place where he told me that after dropping me off at the police station, he was going to return back, for his God has given him a revelation and he had been called by the sister of that woman who had traveled from South Africa, saying that the marine spirits wanted to destroy her home. So his God had told him that he was supposed to go and pray for that woman. We passed through that house. When we walked past, I pretended as if I did not even know anything, yet I was on a mission and we had hunted him down. I was with him now. I pretended as if I was innocent, yet I had all the information on him. I said, oh wow, cool. As we were walking, that was when I held his hand. And then I said, so are you even sure about this, what you want to do? He then asked me and he said, what do you mean? I said, are you sure that you want to take me to the police station? He then said, yes, I have to take you to the police station because that is the only place where you are going to be kept safe. Then tomorrow you can make another plan. As I was talking to him, we were no longer walking. We were standing right next to each other, facing each other even still. He then said, "The way that you talk, why are you doing this?" I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "There is something about your lips, the way that they move, they are so nice." In that moment, I knew that I had him. I moved so close to him, such that my breast were so hard against his chest. I looked at him deep into his eyes. I pretended as if I was scared, and then I said, "Perhaps you take me to the police station, then you leave me at the police station. I know that at the police station there is going to be one who will pretend as if he wants to help me, but along the way, after you would have taken me out of the police station, that person I know very well is going to abuse me. Do you want another man to rape me? Because it has been a long time ever since I have slept with a man." I then said, "Eish, and I'm so scared to sleep with a man right now, especially if a man is forcing himself upon me." It was like, "What do you mean?" I then said, "It has been 2 long years since I last slept with a man. So if it is supposed to be done, it has to be done in a way that I'll be enjoying, not for a man to force himself upon me." I then said, "So do you really want me to go to the police station?" He said, "No, I don't want you to go there, but I don't know what else can we do." I then told him that I had some money, since he had told me that the money that he had used, that was all that he had, and the relatives of that woman that he was supposed to pray for, they were going to give him money so that he can travel back to Epworth, where he had left his wife. I said, "I have some money on me. Maybe we can find a place where we can go and book a room." He said it is okay. We then went to this other guest house. We paid and we went into our room. The room at that guest house, it had its own bathroom. So when we entered there, I then told him that he was supposed to go and buy us some food to eat before we could start making love. The reason as to why I had told him to go and buy some food as well as some condoms, at the mission debriefing, I had been instructed to make sure that even though I was going to seduce him, there was a time when the marine spirit was going to leave my body and I would speak with him not under the possession of a marine spirit. In that moment, his decision was going to be his. It was not me influencing him using my spiritual powers. If he was going to be involved in this sin of me sleeping with him and not going to pray for that woman, I was not going to be blamed. It was his own thing and it was not mine. So I went into the bathroom. I even saw the marine spirit in the mirror as it had left my body. I looked at him, closed the door, for I did not want him to lust after my body, thinking about having sex with me. I wanted him to make a decision without looking at me. I said, "Can you go and buy us some food so that we can eat and then we can sleep together?" He then went to buy the food as well as the condoms. This was done so that tomorrow he can stand accused, for I gave him a chance. I gave him a chance to walk away. The moment that he stepped out of that room, he was supposed to run with his life, but he did not do that. He came back because he was lusting after me. When the man came back, that was when the marine spirits possessed me again. He was sitting on the edge of the bed. I stripped myself and I stripped him and I started strip dancing for him. In his eyes, he saw this beautiful princess, but what he was looking at was a mermaid that was going to be his downfall, that was dancing and stripping for him. He saw a seductive woman who was going to please him through the night. But what he did not know was that indeed he was going to sleep with this marine spirit, this seductive woman, but in return, I was going to make his spirit a rotten one. When he had left, I saw a man, so I just thought that maybe it is a man from the white garment prophet because he was just a normal black man. I did not even expect that he was an angel. Later on, I was told that The person that I saw outside was an angel, but he left the moment that the man returned, for he had made his decision. No one had forced him to return back to me to have sex with a marine spirit. Me and this man, we slept through the night, and tomorrow, like I had told him, that my big sister was going to come and pick us up. He did not know that this was just a marine sister, not my biological sister. She came with a beautiful car. She picked us at that lodge, and then we went to her place. We sat there and we started talking, and he started lusting after my so-called sister, for this was what was supposed to happen. I was supposed to sleep with him first, and other marine spirit girls were supposed to finish him off. So me and my sister, when we saw that he was already lusting after her, no longer lusting after me, I then excused myself, but this was after my sister had gone to her bedroom. She came back semi-naked, and she started walking round and round in front of us, and I knew that it was time for me to leave. He wanted to leave with me, and I said, "No, babe, I'll be back. There is something that I need to sort out. I'll be back soon." The moment that I left, they started touching each other. They slept together. It then happened again that one of our other marine sisters visited this sister of mine, and then she found out that he was still there, and it was a 10 to also make his spirit decay, and he slept with her throughout the day. We kept on sleeping with this man, one after the other. When he was tired, then we gave him money, and we told him that we were going to take him back to his place in Epworth. And he said, "What about my wife?" And then we told him he was not supposed to worry. We were going to give him money. And this money that we were going to give him, this was going to be his excuse for not picking up his calls, because he was not even answering his calls when he was with me. We did not want him to answer any calls. We were scared that if we allow him to answer any calls from the outside, perhaps it will be a church elder who will encourage him to pray, thereby rescuing him from us. He was our prisoner, and we were not yet done with him. We gave him money, and we said, "When you arrive at your place, you must show your wife this money. And then you need to tell your wife that when you were traveling, then you met men that were saying that they were illegal gold diggers. So in Chitungwiza, they were supposed to meet up with this other gold buyer. Since it was already late, that gold buyer told them to come back the next morning because he could not afford to have them bring their gold at night. He wanted to do it in broad daylight. So they were desperate for help, and they promised him that if he was going to assist them, they would give him a cut of the money. That is what we told him. We dropped him off. The wife was looking at the vehicle, but she could not see us because it was heavily tinted, the car that we had on that day. I had seduced him, and I had told him that when I was working, I had raised this money, and I had told God that the day that I was going to meet an honest man, I would give that man money so that he can start a business, and then he will use that money that he would have gotten from the business to marry me. He was like, "Really?" And I said yes. After we had dropped him off, I then deleted his phone numbers, for he was no longer useful to us. So there is this other mirror. There is a house here in Harare. At that house, there is a big mirror. I don't know if you have ever seen some prophets that uses mirrors. They always use these small mirrors when they are helping people. But traditional healers, they get these mirrors from people like us, and they use those mirrors to call the spirits that can help them to prophesy and to heal people. Even if it happens that you go to a traditional healer's house, and then the traditional healer will tell you that you see that cloth that is hanging from the wall, you are going to see a vision of the people that are bewitching you. What you need to know is that if that healer allows you to look at the back of the curtain or that cloth that he uses as a spiritual TV, you will find that there's a mirror right there. It does not matter how big it is or how small it is. They get those magical mirrors that they use to prophesy from people like us. Even though I had deleted that pastor's phone numbers from my phone, but we were still monitoring him on our magic mirror. What happened was that the money that I gave him, it was nothing but cursed money. Indeed, he used that money to start a business, but that business never went anywhere. He started blaming God for all of his misfortunes. When he saw that nothing was changing, that was when he came into contact with this other traditional healer from a village in Mutoko. He went to Mutoko, and then after he had been assisted by that traditional healer, on his way back, then he met a man who told him to repent, for there was time. But he said to that man he should mind his own business. When he was walking towards his place in Epworth after he had been dropped off by the taxi, that was when he saw a man that was wearing a red garment. That man told him that he had been hired to come after him, and he thought that maybe he was seeing things that did not even exist. He saw the man again, then he started running away. When he ran towards the place where he was running to, he then saw the man again, and then that was how he lost his mind. When he started losing his mind, that was when he committed suicide. For according to us, not according to the will of his God, his time here on earth was done, and he was supposed to die. That was my mission when I was initiated. So I am that type of a woman that does not want to see other women that are in relationships happy. Those that got married and then they had their weddings, those ones, they are the ones that I hate. I do not want to see them happy. I get so excited when I see them crying, when I see them in pain because of what their husbands would be doing. There was this other time when I had been told to go and buy this other dinner dress. So I went to this other expensive boutique. There was this other young couple. They had been married and they had their small boutique here in Harare. When I entered into their clothing shop, immediately I saw that these two people, they were really romantic and they loved each other. What really made me to become so angry, when I was busy looking around, that woman, she was busy. She looked at her husband and she was like, "Babe, can you help the customer?" I looked at her with so much hatred in my eyes and I said, baby, you are busy babying each other in front of me. Hey, we are going to see. That was when the husband came and then he started helping me. I told him that I wanted a dinner dress, and then he said, "Okay, I see it, but I think that this dress, it goes along with these heels. They will suit you so nice." And I said, "Really? I want to try these heels because they are quite long. Can I try them on? And I can't support myself properly." So he went on his knees, and as I was holding him, so whenever I want to seduce a man, I always have these very long nails. So I always dip those nails into some charms, and those charms will make that man want to sleep with me immediately. As he was kneeling down, supporting me when I was trying that heel on, that was when I started scratching him. He looked at me, and then I saw that he wanted to sleep with me, and it was time that another marine spirit was supposed to come so that it can assist me. It was a marine spirit, a mermaid that was walking in broad daylight that entered into that shop as if it was a customer. It then went to that other woman who did not even know that I was busy seducing a husband, hypnotizing a husband. They started to talk. The customer told her what she wanted as they were talking, and that man then led me to the back of their shop where they keep stock of the clothes that they sell in their boutique. We kissed, we touched each other, and then we made love. That was quick. And again, he was hard as a rock, and he said he wanted more. That was so quick. We slept with each other again. By the time that we were finished, when we went out, that woman did not even realize what was happening. And then I went and I paid and I walked away, and the mission was done. I kept on sleeping with the husband, and I did whatever that I wanted with him. I got so happy because I managed to destroy her marriage, I first did it spiritually. After I had destroyed her marriage spiritually, then it was natural that it was going to be destroyed physically. So that is my mission here on earth, brother. If you post my story, it will be interesting for me to listen to it whilst you are reading it. Please tell me when you post my story. Dear listeners, right there was a message that was sent to me by one of our sister right there. Strange things indeed, they do happen in this world. That was the translation, hoping that you were able to understand the translation. Let us talk about this in the comment section.